Good morning and good afternoon, colleagues. I welcome all of you to our EdTech Lounge today. Those of you who have not attended any EdTech Lounge before this one, I would like to just quickly introduce the EdTech Lounge to you. During the COVID-19 period, as you know, this on-campus teaching activities have been disrupted. And a lot of the faculty members at Al Khan University have already started teaching online, or they are in the process of planning their online teaching to make a rapid transition to online teaching and learning. While our team in blended and digital learning team in the network of quality teaching and learning is offering workshops and consultations to help faculty members move to online teaching, we have established an EdTech Lounge to allow faculty members to share experiences and learn from each other by sharing challenges that they're facing, things that are working, and discussing new ideas. EdTech Lounge is a very simple format. For the first 15 minutes, our speaker will share her experiences, and after that we will have about 15 minutes for question and answers. So I welcome Dr. Tasneem Anwar. She is an assistant professor at Al Khan University's Institute for Educational Development, Karachi. Dr. Tasneem is a recipient of several awards, such as Outstanding Teacher Award for Sustained Scholarship of Integration and Innovations in Teaching Science Teachers Award. Recently, Dr. Tasneem Anwar has received recognition as a Fellow of Higher Education Academy, UK. Dr. Tasneem is a coordinator for Masters and Advanced Diploma programs, and she's also the lead faculty for Virtual Learning Environment Project at Institute for Educational Development, through which she is facilitating both students and faculty members for blended teaching and learning at the graduate level. Dr. Tasneem Anwar's areas of teaching and research include science and STEM education. She's working towards unpacking the potential of STEM education within the existing national curriculum of science. She's also exploring teaching and learning in higher education, both face-to-face and online modalities. Dr. Tasneem is the co-principal investigator of the Higher Education Commission's NRPU grant on a national study on the perceptions and the measures for the enhancement of teachers' status, Part 1. She is also leading a URC grant, STEM Teams STEM for Teacher Education of Analysis, Measurement and Science. In addition to all of this, Dr. Tasneem Anwar is actively involved in supporting AKU-wide use of technology, and she's our co-facilitator for our live online teaching workshops via Zoom. So welcome, Dr. Tasneem, and I hand over the microphone to you now.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, and very good afternoon to everyone. Depending on from where you are joining, so a very good day to everyone. So I'll just begin with the most interesting areas, two of the areas that I am really passionate about. One is teacher education and the other is the teaching learning, so the teaching learning itself. So today I'll be just sharing some thoughts, some efforts that we have been doing as faculty at AKUIED. So today I'll be talking about teacher educators' role in online teaching and learning in the wake of COVID-19. Before I move on, it's very important to understand the situation at the moment. So this slide gives a quick overview of life before COVID-19. So it was life full of activity at AKUI. The classrooms were busy with teaching learning activities, and there were other co-curricular activities also happening, like our students were engaged in sports activities as well. So this is our social area. These are our social gatherings, our student social gatherings, and these are hands-on experiences that our students used to have. And finally, this picture, the beautiful picture, the most memorable time of any graduate student's life, the graduation. So this is our group photo of one of our badge of AKUID. So this was one time. Now moving on to what is happening at the moment. So this is the time during lockdown. So since March, all our students have moved back to their own original geographical locations. So as this map is indicating, these stars are showing where at the moment our students are located. So you can see they are all over in Sindh, somewhere in Balochistan, in Punjab, then Islamabad region, then Peshawar, Mardan, these areas, and then Chitral, then Gilgit-Baltistan. So this is like the geographical spread of our students, and they have moved back to their original locations during this lockdown. But on the left-hand side, you can see teaching learning is still happening. So this is an example of student supervision work that is happening. So this is one-on-one student supervision using Zoom. So this is an example of student town hall where we gathered all the students via Zoom, and we talked to them about the situation and how to move on towards next teaching learning phase. And then this is very exciting. This happened just a few days back. This is MPhil examination of one of our to-be graduate student, and this happened entirely online. So it's like kind of milestones, but in a new way. So there is on right hand side also there is a box screenshot is there. So that is also indicating how students are engaged, like the larger groups are engaged via Zoom. So this was another example. Um, um, so after giving you these two scenarios, like before COVID-19 scenario and now in the current time, so I just want you to reflect on how different and or similar are the two scenarios. So you have the chat box option. Just write down your response over there. So I just want you to think about it and think about how they are different, these two scenarios, and what are the things that are still similar. Okay, so I can see interaction happening in both the scenarios. I can see students coming up as a prominent theme in your responses. All right, so continuous engagement is one other response that you have posted. All right, the difference is also coming up. The modality is different. The modality of teaching learning is different. All right, faculty are motivated and engaged in teaching. Oh, that shows. Yeah, definitely. All right. Oh, learning is still taking place. All right, I'm glad. Okay. All right, personal touch. Yes, it's very important to personalize, especially when you are departed with geographical location. It's way more important. Personalization is always important, but it becomes even like way important in this situation. Yes. All right, so it's a sign of relief that I have a comment. We are getting used to this mode of learning. So all right, that is a good sign. So we can like try out more things with greater comfort. All right. So thank you so much for your responses, and in the meantime, I'll just okay. So I'll just move to the next one. Okay, so now this is another perspective. So earlier I showed you our students. So our students are basically, they belong to education. So most of them are in-service teacher educators. So in-service teachers, right? So either they are teaching in the classrooms or they are in some leadership positions or in some curriculum design or research position, but they are linked with education. And this perspective that I'm showing now, it is the teacher educators work before COVID-19. So these teacher educators are us. So I define myself as a teacher educator. So I'm a faculty at AKUIT and I work with in-service teachers to educate them for their teaching in their own context. So we have been fully engaged before this pre-COVID-19 times on face-to-face basis. Along with that, we have been taking like regular classroom teaching also. Then teacher professional development activities were also done. So you can see this is also a picture from classroom. And then this always excites me, the graduation of students. So I have been attending the graduation ceremonies of our students, so it has been the most fulfilling experience. So at the end of the day, when you see the fruit of your teaching learning, so that's kind of like all these activities that have been happening. So now coming to the other side, teacher educators like us, faculty members at AKUID during COVID-19 lockdown time. So now this is also loaded slide with the screenshots. So you can see on the extreme top, right top, this is a teacher professional development activity that we all were busy. So during these past 2 months, we have been like rushing towards every opportunity that we are getting to polish our skills, to enhance our technology comfort level and all these things. So this was one example from there. Then in spite of the lockdown, in spite of working from home, we have been connecting with our larger audience, that is the in-service teachers. So these are the Zoom sessions that we are taking to offer subject or content-based teacher education to larger audience. So this is also another example at the bottom left of a subject-specific professional development. And you can see this very bright picture where this Doctor of Philosophy in Education is written. So this is a screenshot from our recent virtual day that we organized as an effort for our advertising, our marketing for session 2021. And then on this extreme right hand side also, you can see another very bright picture of a very confident girl. So this is also from our marketing virtual tour of AKUID. That is also conducted very recently. And then you can see this small MS Teams screenshot. So this is my professional day. This is how my professional day looks like. So talking about my graduate program with my team members, with other faculty members. So this is like showing how so from one Zoom or MS Team meeting, we are moving to another for different purposes, either for our own professional development or for our students discussions or for students learning purpose. So this is happening, still happening. So it's not that we are resting, right? All right, so the same question. So now I showed these two slides for the faculty perspective, like how the teacher education faculty is working in these two scenarios and how different and how similar are the two situations again. But like this has to be unpacked to move further. So again, use your chat box option and just say whatever comes to your mind in looking at how the things have evolved in the two situations. What are the differences and what are still the same things happening? So I'll just pause for a little. Yeah. Okay, so online teaching has integrated us with IT. All right, yeah. So IT, those of us who were not very comfortable with using a lot of IT instructional technologies, unknowingly we have become involved in doing that. Yes, only platform has changed. Otherwise, the educators are trying hard to continue what they were doing earlier. So I see that, I hear that. So as a teacher educator, my biggest concern has always been to provide the best possible teaching learning opportunities. And you can see both these scenarios are looking at those opportunities for teaching learning. Yes, I agree. Accelerated use of technology has suddenly become very prominent during this COVID-19 lockdown time. Um, all right, so there is one comment, interesting, you can deliver some content but not experiential learning. All right. Yes, first-hand experiential learning. Yes, we are thinking hard about it. And today we are having this conversation for the very purpose to share ideas and to maybe brainstorm. There are so many wonderful minds sitting together at this time in this Zoom meeting. So probably we can come up with a very practical, pragmatic solution for having experiential learning in this situation as well. So all right, so it shows our flexibility also. So there is one comment, ability to make a transition from one modality to another modality. So yeah, so as soon as our scenario changed, we quickly tried out all those things that could allow us to connect with our students, with our colleagues, with our peers, wherever we needed to connect. We tried out all possible means to connect with all those people. So, all right. So there is another interesting question. If the closure continues, say, next 18 months, so I don't even want to think about it, but all right, let's think about it. What uh, are the possibilities? What are the options for such a crisis-led situation? Uh, let's move on now. Thank you so much for putting in so many comments, and they were all very highly valuable. Um, all right. Okay. Okay. So now, looking at this situation, so as teacher educators, myself and my colleagues at AKU ID, oh God, what happened? Okay. So my colleagues at AKU ID, we all collaborated and we worked out a plan. And we were not alone in this endeavor. So we had our entire AKU support system with us. So in AKU, we have various facilities that help in providing support for teaching learning. So we all interacted together, and so after having these collaborative data-driven deliberations, we come to this solution that I will be sharing, that we'll be doing online teaching learning primarily based on asynchronous learning. So for that, we looked at our students' contextual realities, our faculty's readiness for moving towards online learning, and then looking at university-wide, as I said, facilities to remodel our teaching learning. And then we look at assessment and examination processes as well. So after this deliberation, and we agreed on some guiding principles as well. So these guiding principles also are driven from research. So these guiding principles are primarily from the best practices of teacher education and online teaching learning. And you can see, as both of them are connected with this thread of teaching learning, so they have this peer collaboration as one of the prominent things. So ensuring that collaboration happens in an online environment as well. And then for that, the reflective practice piece from the teacher education also jumps in, and that reflective discussions also provide a very good opportunity in an online environment to build that collaboration. So we have made sure that these are the guiding principles that will continuously guide us in this transition from face-to-face towards online teaching learning. So the other thing that is very important is the organized and structured plan. So at AKUIT, we have been using a virtual learning environment. It's basically an LMS where replaceably, interchangeably, it is also called an LMS, Learning Management System. We use Moodle, and we are already using, we have already been using it while we were teaching face-to-face. But now the shift is entirely on VLE, like the virtual learning environment. So we'll be giving this teaching learning environment based on this, like our students are separated by distance, the geographical distance. So in order to cope up with this real issue, we have decided to focus on that, and along with that, we are still flexible in trying out different support mechanisms along with that, like the calls, audio conference calls would also be another option to connect wherever we will feel that there is a difficulty or issue. And then the other important guiding principle is setting clear expectations and evaluation formats. So that is also very important. And above all these things are very important. But then another important point is realizing the contextual realities of our students and our faculty. So for that, we have decided to provide flexibility based on individual, like individual equity is also taken into consideration. And for me, I feel that this crisis has led us to a greater opportunity of providing equity. So our students are from various geographical locations, and in order to facilitate them, we are using this principle of flexibility within that structured plan. So it's not that they are flexible to do whenever they want to finish maybe 2025. No, it's not that. Within a structure, we'll be flexible in responding to their needs. All right, so this with this I will sum up what we have come up with. So our teacher educators plan of online teaching learning, in spite of all the deliberation and all the collaboration, thought process, looking at what research tells us and looking at experiences of our colleagues who have already been practicing online learning. So we have been questioning ourselves and are in conversation with those colleagues who are in practice with online teaching learning. So we still feel we have these three questions in front of us. How different will teaching be in this online teaching learning? And then what are some of the big challenges? And do you see any bright spot at the end of the day after doing this online teaching learning? So for me as a teacher educator and for us at AKUID, we feel that these questions raise important considerations for collaboration. So teacher education is highly grounded in connecting theory with practice. So there is a big element of practicum. So what will happen to that? So student engagement, how will we make sure that our students are still engaged with learning? And then most importantly, what will happen of assessment of learning, for learning and on learning? So what would be the mechanisms? And these are the things that we will continue to be looking at, and we will evolve our strategies as we will move on. So thank you for being a great Zoom audience.